So good day everyone, especially to our dynamic, gorgeous, and very active Educ 10 instructor, Ma'am Natalie L. Dominar. And of course, we were given a task to present our topic, which is Chapter 3, Implementing the Curriculum. So before I'll start, let me introduce myself first and to the rest of my group mates. So I will be your first presenter. I am Arnel M. Papasin, followed by Sheila Marie E. De Lejero, Mylene Kabudbud, Jolina Olalo, Gerard Jessica Sison, Clea Cornietes, Aris Balaki, and of course, Rosalinda Honio. So once again, our topic is Chapter 3, Implementing the Curriculum. Under Chapter 3, we have the Module 4, which is Teacher as Curriculum Implementer and Manager. And of course, the Lesson 1, which is Implementing the Design Curriculum as a Change Process. So these are the desired learning outcomes of implementing the design curriculum as a change process. The first one is we have to define curriculum implementation, followed by analyze what is change process in curriculum implementation. And of course, the last one is explain the process of curriculum implementation. Curriculum implementation, it is defined as following the curriculum models of Tyler, Taba, and Saylor, and Alexander of Lewis is the next step curriculum designing, which is curriculum implementing. So after the curriculum designing, what we call the curriculum implementing. Curriculum implementation means putting into practice the written curriculum that has been designed in syllabi, course of study, curricular guides, and subjects. Si Ornstein and Hankins in 1998 defined curriculum implementation as the interaction between curriculum that has been written and planned and the persons or teachers who are in charge to deliver it. So meaning to say, they are the one who defined in 1998 that the curriculum implementation curriculum nga imong gisulat og ang giplano. And then it's up to the teachers or sa tao how to manage or how to handle the curriculum nga. So next up, we have the curriculum implementation implies the following. So there are the curriculum implementations. So first, we have shift from what is current to a new or enhanced curriculum. So from the old one to a new one, like ang curriculum is wala lang siya nagstay sa usa ka generation, but they are shifting to a new one, like sa ato nga curriculum karon, like ni-exist ang K-12. So then it has changed in knowledge, actions, attitudes of the persons involved. So naagud ay ma-change nga knowledge, of course, ang attitudes and actions sa tao nga na-involved ato. And then change in behavior using new strategies and resources. So you must be resourceful in order for you to change what is curriculum implementation using your strategy. And last one is change which requires efforts, hence goals should be achievable. So nagkinahanglan og dayon siya effort so that ang imong goal it should be achievable. Exert an effort so that your goals will be achievable. And Lieberman in 1983 defined curriculum implementation as trying out a new practice and what it looks like when actually used in a school system. So in the classroom context, curriculum implementation means teaching. Say context or classroom, it's a setting kung asa ga-discuss ang usa ka instructor. So meaning to say, ang curriculum context na ginamin niya sa classroom context is teaching, which means it's going to teach a lesson that is related to his subject or his course, what has been written in the lesson plan. So lisod kayo og kanang mo go beyond ka or kanang mo lesson plan. So it should be as a teacher, so ikaw mismo, you have to follow what's plan or what has been written in the lesson plan so that ang flow sa imong discussions will be continuous kanang diretso. And then curriculum implementation as a change process. Kurt Levin's force field theory and the curriculum change niingon siya he is the father of social psychology. So dili siya basta-basta ni si Kurt Lewin kay he can read the mind of a person or explains that the process of change, the model can be used to explain curriculum change and implementation. So in the education landscape, there are two forces that oppose each other. The first one is the driving force, and the second one is the restraining force. Force and restraining force. When these two forces are equal, there is an equilibrium, meaning to say there is a balance of the two, or status quo. Hence, there will be no change. So if these two are equal, so there is no change nga mahitabo. The situations or condition will stay the same, so magpareha ra gyapon mo siya. However, when the driving force overpowers to the restraining force, then change will occur. So once nga ang usa ka driving force mag-overpower sa restraining force, there will be a change nga mahitabo. And opposite happens, that is when the restraining force is stronger than the driving force. So kung change is prevented, so dapat ma-prevent of Kurt Lewin in this force of field theory. So idea da ni Lewin to explain curriculum change. The illustration below shows that there are driving force on the left and the restraining force on the right. If you look at the illustration, we have the illustration below, there is equilibrium. If the driving force is equal to the restraining force, will change happen? Kung think there will be a curriculum change in the situation in the city. Okay, other is ang katong technological changes, which is the driving force, and the restraining force is the yes. So kung saan man nato pag-identify nga equal or equilibrium. So when these two forces, kung ang driving force is mo overpower, so there will be a change. So di ba we are commonly using books, magazines, lisod kayo sa una letter lang, unlike today that we are on technological advanced karon nga generation. So unsaon man nato pag-equal, so isa kayo sila familiar sa technology, so para mahimong balance siya, so they should adapt kung unsa ang naa karon para equilibrium or balance ang force o ang usa ka restraining force. So that's it. Have our next presenter, Sheila Marie E. De Lejero.
By the way, my name is Sheila Marie E. De Lejero, and now let's move on to categories of curriculum change. So McNeil in 1990 categorized 5 of curriculum change, and these are substitution, alteration, restructuring, perturbation, and value of orientation. So first, let me discuss to you the first category, which is the substitution. So substitution is the current curriculum that will be replaced or substituted by a new one, sometimes called this overhaul. Example of this is changing an old book to entirely new one. Second is alteration. Alteration is there's a minor change to the current or existing curriculum. So for example, instead of using a graphing paper for mathematics teaching, this can be altered or changed by using a graphing calculator. So third is restructuring. Building a new structure would mean major change or modification in a school system, degree, program, or educational system. So using an integrated curriculum, which is the K-12 that requires primary and secondary levels, will change the school system, degree program, or education system. Another example is when the parents is involved in the child's learning instead of leaving everything to the teachers. Fourth is perturbation. These are changes that are disruptive, but teachers have to adjust to them within a fairly short time. So for example, if the principal changes the time schedule because there is a need to catch up with national testing, and the teacher has to shorten schedule to accommodate and plan extra curricular activities. And the last category is the value orientation. So this is the type of curriculum change. Perhaps this classification will respond to shift in the emphasis that the teacher provides which are not within the mission or vision of the whole school or vice versa. So example of this is when there is a new teacher that is recruited in religious schools and he or she gives only emphasis on academics and forget the formation of values or faith, this means that they need a curriculum value orientation. However, we notice that all teachers in public schools undergo teacher induction program, which is a special curriculum for newly hired teachers. Regardless of the kind of change in curriculum and implementation. So, there are three important elements in curriculum implementation, and these are developmental, participatory, and supportive. In curriculum implementation, refers to how the planned or officially designed course of study is translated into syllabus, subjects, and lesson to be delivered. So therefore, curriculum implementation should be developmental in the sense that it should develop multiple perspective, increase integration, and make learning autonomous, create a climate of openness and trust, and appreciate and affirm strengths of the teacher. There should be a teacher support in trying new tasks, reflection on the new experience, and challenge. There are simple stages in the developmental change process for the teachers. First is orientation and preparation. In this step, there are continuous reflection, feedback, and refinement. So the second important element of curriculum implementation is participatory. It should be participatory, especially because other stakeholders like peers, school leaders, parents, and curriculum specialists are necessary. Characteristics of teacher styles, commitment, and willingness to change skills and readiness are critical to implementation. This should be coupled with organizational structure, principal style, and student population characteristics. So participation builds a learning community which is very necessary in curriculum implementation. So stakeholders are individuals who are interested in curriculum. And the last important element in curriculum implementation is the supportive. Supportive curriculum implementation is required in the process of change. Material support like supplies, equipment, and conducive learning environment should be made available. The school leader or head should provide full school or institutional support to the implementation of the new curriculum. And they too have to train to understand how to address curriculum change as part of their instructional. So, it is important to adapt the new curriculum to implement by the teacher and the learners. Time is important commodity for a successful change process. It is needed to the teacher to plan, adapt, train, or practice, provide the necessary requirements, and get support. Also needed to determine when the implementation starts and when it will conclude, since curriculum implementation is time-bound. Support from peers, principals, external stakeholders will add to the success of implementation. When teachers share ideas, work together, solve problems, create new materials, and celebrate success, more likely that curriculum implementation will be welcomed. We all know that it takes 3 to 5 years to institutionalize or implement a curriculum. So time-bound is a goal or task that is measured or restricted by time.